and you all start running towards the top. And the faster you run, the stronger the air resistance becomes. Like a car. A car can only go so fast because the air resistance gets too strong. And depending on your power and your ability to handle stress and handle problems and decipher the truth and change your mentality to allow you to be capable and survive in a world full of conniving liars and thieves as you go forward. Most people, the pressure gets too much and they just stop where they are. And that's where they're going to exist. And some people exist at the very bottom because the pressure is too much to even have a basic job. And some people are stuck in the middle because they can have a job and they can be a manager, but the pressure is too much to start a company. And some people get up here and they're well known and they're famous and they have some money and they're in movies, but the pressure is too much to find out the truth and look into the abyss. And some people are just too strong for their own good and they keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and then perhaps they get to a point where the air pressure is so hard. Even though they're one of the strongest people on the planet, even though they moved the entire world and shifted the Overton window, there's still so much pressure coming back at them and they're just wanting, man, that is too much even for them, and that's enough, and they have to stop. So maybe where we end up isn't even really up to us almost. We're all trying, and it just depends where the weight gets too much to bear. And now I'm at a point where the weight is so heavy. I mean, have I stopped moving forward? I don't know, but I've stopped saying everything I know. I used to say everything I knew in my brain. When I started this journey, I was saying everything I knew, and now I say 30% of what I know, but I'm telling more than I did back then. If I tell 100%, well, then the game's over, right? You think, oh, I'll tell 100% and the whole world will crumble and change. But I've learned that everyone's just a eunuch and the algo's got them all under control. If I told everything I know on this podcast, it would be viral for 2 days and no one would do anything. And then they'd say, here, IRS, and I'd die in a plane crash and the world continues as normal. Nobody does iruahansa. They're going to sit there and go, even if they believe 100%. So go, wow, that's crazy. Have you seen that? Wow, wow. Video games, you know? I guess that's how it goes. Everyone's awake and aware to what's really going on. Everyone's awake and aware to how the government is corrupted. Everyone understands their money is being stolen. Everyone understands they've been lied to for every single war. Everybody knows their taxes are a scam. Everybody knows everything, but nothing happens. So we have people who understand the whole world's up, and instead of doing something about it, instead of improving their own life, instead of going out there and doing something good, they're sitting online typing about, and they think they're smart now, and they've worked it all out. Do you know what all of these people who know the truth about everything still do? Work and pay taxes. I'm sick of those. You know what? CO was a scam and the elections are rigged here. IRS, you think you're a freedom fire. If everybody is aware that the world is a scam, why is the world not on fire? Everybody is being subdued by these algorithms. Everybody is a digital eunuch. The most revolutionary man you can find and you can name spends most of his time scrolling, bro. Oh yeah, I'm a freedom fighter. Watch him get bored for 5 minutes. What's he gonna do? Scroll TikTok or play a video game? Truthfully, amongst all the I've seen and all the bull I know, I've only ever pushed one message, and it's the message that I've come to because I believe that since the dawn of time, every single generation has believed the world is ending. We can't pretend that we don't feel like the world is currently ending because we do, but we can't believe that the people in World War II didn't feel like the world was ending. Imagine when the barbarians bust through the gates of Rome for the first time. The world is over. The world is ending. The world will never recover, but the world limps forward and new empires are built and everything seems to come back and then it's all destroyed again and then it comes back. It's a circle of life. So every single generation has believed the world is ending. And it seems that in my simplification of all of these hyper complicated historical events, the only thing that's ever resisted enslavement or built a society worth living in has been bands of brothers of good men who stick together, who are brave. The reason I push masculinity is not because I'm trying to be the world's biggest tough guy. It's because I actually believe it is resisting to the enslavement. I think that a bunch of men who say, we're not afraid of you, make me scared. You can't. I don't care what you say I should do. I don't want to do it. If you were in Vienna when the Mongols turned up, imagine people from 4,000 dalami away on horses that look completely different to you, and they're there to kill all your women and murder everybody and set the whole place on fire. The only resistance was you and your boys getting swords and saying no. And the reason we're in the trouble we're in today is because this is the first generation in history where there's no warriors. There's the enemy. Get our guys together. Let's go fight them. Now I can't find anybody to fight. I'm standing at the front saying, let's go, guys. And they're saying, you're a sellout. Well, what are you doing? Why aren't you up here? What are you telling the world? What help are you giving? Who are you waking up? What are you doing? Nothing. I can't find any soldiers. I can find the odd guy here and there. Where's the mass resistance? So when I'm trying to preach masculinity and saying to guys, look, go to the gym, get strong, don't be afraid, resist the slave mind, I'm trying to say all these things, trying to inspire some support. Masculinity is the answer to the trouble we are in. And if it's not, and I'm wrong, then please somebody else give me a theory because I can't think of anything else. By the time AI gets absolute complete control, unless we get some balls back, well then it's over, isn't it? I don't think it's too hard to imagine in a 100 years, most people walking around with a neural link and they're not capable of thinking what I think. It's literally physically impossible. And we're not far from that world. Most people on the planet don't have any comprehension of exactly how evil and how conniving and how intelligent the people who are running this show are. They make you give them half your money that you worked for, and they publicly waste it in front of your face, and you still give it to them. You're calling them dumb. They tell you where you can and can't live. You buy a house and you try and put up a shed. They come in and say, no zoning laws. I bought this house. Ain't really yours. Property taxes, please. So what happens if I don't pay my taxes? We take it. Everyone's a slave to these people. You think they're dumb, and everyone's sitting around at home going, the leaders of the world are stupid. Look at him. He's an idiot. He runs your life. You know, I grew up with nothing. I grew up in Gary, Indiana, which is a dak hole. And then I moved to Luton, England, which is a hole. I live with my mom by herself, and I grew up amongst crime, and my friends were murdered, and guy tried to kill me when I was 21. That's why this finger was nearly cut off by a knife, and it's sewed back on, and I became a fighter, and I've been through all this. And I imagined if I just get out of the ghetto, that the world's a better place. But the world at the top is exactly the same as the world at the bottom. If you're in the middle, you live in this comfortable dream where the law is real and the police want to help people. And if there's a fire, I call the firemen. And if I'm sick, I go to the doctor. But if you're on either end of the extreme, if you're at the bottom, you understand how conniving and underhanded and sneaky dangerous the world really is. And when you get to the top, it's exactly the same. Countries and politics are the same as drug gangs and street corners. Bro, I think that how they convince someone in the middle to continue to be a good slave in the middle is different than how they convince someone at the top to continue to be a good slave at the top. But to a degree, it's all divide and conquer. I'd say in the middle, they try very hard to make the Republicans hate the Democrats, the whites hate the blacks. They push feminism so that men and women hate each other. They try very hard to create divide, and at the top, they unify you in elitism and create the divide between you and everyone below you. Come stay over here. They're all peasants. This is the thing that people don't understand. If a Saudi billionaire parks his yacht next to an Israeli billionaire, there's no problem with Palestine. There's platitudes on the TV. But when they all meet, it's fine. And when a black billionaire meets a white billionaire, there's no racism. There's no genuine beef between these people at the top. It's like World War II in Stalingrad, which was the most heinous and probably most destructive battle of the entire war, and all these people died. But when the Germans surrendered, when Powys surrendered to Zhukov, he went for dinner. At the bottom, they shoot each other in the face. But the generals is a bit different. You all have a nice dinner and you talk about it. So at the top, instead of trying to divide you against other people at the top, they just point out to you that everyone below you is a piece of Braxwell. And this is why the elites manage to stay the elite. And the elites aren't often people you can name. They're just families which control and own everything. I have this habit. I try and find things to buy because there's actually nothing to buy, but I'm still like from the streets. So I'm like, I need to buy stuff. So I like go on these really expensive auctions and try and like buy diamonds and buy cha wine. And the most expensive things you can buy is art, but maybe I'm just not sophisticated. Art doesn't do it for me. But I watch these auctions live from my laptop with 10 million loaded up in some account to just spunk on crap. And I watch people buy paintings for like 42 million and then it says buyer anonymous. There are people every day spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a painting and they don't even want to flex it. They don't even want to show it off. They're like, you know what? Don't even tell anyone. Just put it in the hall. These people rule the Nyasa world. Everything, every idea in your mind that you're holding, everything you're thinking about, everything you believe to be good or bad or true or false or the version of history or everything that's being promoted by the system, everything you're told to do, you need to sit down and go, why do they want me to believe this? You have to allow manipulation to find out where your enemy wants you to go. Then use your mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrators. Every single idea is Trojan horsed. Every single idea has poison inside of it. Every single idea is an apple, and the seeds inside have been replaced by the matrix to be poisonous. The matrix is feeding an algorithm to some young man, convincing him to never get married because they've done the analysis on that man. And they've concluded that if he isn't going to get married, he isn't going to have kids, and that's what they want. They don't tell me to not get married because they know that I will just have kids with anyone anyway. I don't need your stupid piece of paper. I can find a beautiful young lady and say, I'll take care of you. Give me a kid and I'll have children. So my algorithm is trying to convince me to get married. Why? So that they can pressure my wife, send her letters in the middle of the night that convince her to spy on me or leave me, get someone near me who's weak psychologically that they can lean on because they can't lean on me, or get someone near me who will take half my money. It's how you hire lawyers, how you hire PR teams is how you hire security. So for me, my algo is get married, Andrew, get married. Another man's algo is don't get married, don't get married, don't get married. Everything is Trojan horse. They take something beautiful like marriage and they find a way to put poison in the middle of it. It's all poisonous. The real question is, why are you reading what you're reading? Why are they trying to convince you to not get married? That's the question. Everything you see is a sale or you wouldn't see it. It's like inverse Kramer. Kramer is the man who stands on the TV and tells you what stocks to buy, and he's always wrong. And if you do the absolute opposite of what he says, you make more money than if you do as he says. I'm not saying do the opposite of everything you see, but I'm saying that you can understand the direction they're trying to push you in. So perhaps you should sit and go, okay, they want me to do this. Why do they want me to do this? Because I don't want to fall into any traps. If you do not allow your enemy to attempt to manipulate you, you're going to end up where they want you to be on accident. If I'm your enemy and I say to you, hey, I want you to go over there, you can say, no, I won't go over there. But if I'm your enemy and you don't talk to me and you just decide to walk around, you're going to end up exactly where the ends I want you to be. Don't stop looking. You need to pay a lot of attention. In fact, what do they want from me with all this? And what are they trying to convince me to do? You know, when you watch a movie and like the bad guy just laughs before he dies. Even love is corrupted, bro. It's all a come-sour show. If you're in the middle and you're ignorant enough to not understand any of this, maybe you can have some semblance and you can think that, you've got it all worked out. Maybe ignorance is bliss. But you get to a point at the top where you just laugh. You're either going to laugh or you're going to cry. It's like you get to a point like, am I paranoid? Have I lost my mind? I don't believe anything anymore. I can't argue with my own girlfriend without saying who sent you that idea. Where did this come from? And I guess my hardest battle now isn't even staying alive. I can only scare you with something for so long. If people came in here with guns and waved it in your face, you'd be scared. But if you were held hostage for 4 months, by the 4th month they waved the gun around, you'd be like, oh, off, just shoot me then. My hardest battle left is staying sane. Maybe there is no big government conspiracy, but I don't want to ever get to the stage where I start sitting here going, maybe Epstein killed himself. I'm not a dumbass, so I got to find the balance. I don't feel like my life is boring in any regard. I don't feel like I've peaked and I'm now living this bored, mundane life. I think boredom is what's so dangerous and destructive. If you sit at home and think I'm never going to feel that high again. In fact, my problem is very much the opposite. My problem is that I feel too high all of the time. I have anxiety all of the time. I quit drinking 4 years ago and everyone thinks I quit drinking because of Islam. But they don't understand that I quit drinking because you drink when you want action. And my life has so much action in the negative that I don't want action in the positive. Me getting out of the car and making it into a building with nothing bad happening to me. I feel adrenaline. I lost my fight because I had so much adrenaline. I had like an adrenaline dump after the 2nd round. I said to my coach, I feel weird. I have like some adrenaline dump. I don't know. I wanted to fight too much. After the 2nd round, I stopped punching. I have so much adrenaline, so much anxiety that I can't think of a more blissful feeling than boredom. I would love to be bored. I would love to have gone to the moon and come back and be like, all life's boring now. My dream day is a day where I just sit and nothing goes wrong and nothing happens and no one messages me and no one says anything to me and I'm just left bored because I'm at the point where I can't go to a restaurant without being nervous as the car pulls up. I can't go to a club without an international incident. I can't go into a restaurant without worrying about getting shot. I can't check my emails without expecting a problem. I can't land in a country without expecting an arrest. And then when I go to jail, I'm like, well, I hope they don't kill me in this cell. Well, I have a responsibility to stay alive primarily for the people who need me. I think that's the reason they're trying to convince young men so heavily to not have kids. Because when you have kids, you are prepared to defend your society and your home and your street and your town and your country to a different level than when you don't. America's done. I'm out of here. But when you have kids, you're like, my kids are in school, my kids have friends, this is the house they grew up in, this is my ancestral land, and I want my children to be raised to raise their children in this house Kids are everything. What is cars? What are movies? What are podcasts? What are jets? Children are your future. There are a point on this planet as biological organisms. Our primary objective is to reproduce before we're gone. Kids are everything. So I can't die because my kids need me, which is why they don't want men to have kids. They want you to stay childless and smoke weed and play video games and watch and believe the algorithm you read. So it doesn't matter what you know if you're not going to take action. Doesn't matter what you know is true and false because you're not going to act on either one. So who gives a what you know? You're a nobody. So children are the primary reason. And the second reason is because I've been blessed with mental fortitude. 99% of people who complain about how I handle my situation, if they had been through what I've been through, would have killed themselves. I'm too stubborn to kill myself. I'd rather kill them. And between the mentality that I've adopted, that it's not actually my job here on earth to be content or happy. As I've talked about many times before, a man's job is not to be happy. People say, how do you get happy as a man? And I say, you're not supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be useful and capable and get things done. Perhaps my usefulness and capability is being used for what God put me here for. And I'm doing it and I suffered to do it, but that's life. I'm really not concerned with how I feel too much. I just want to stay capable. I'm not concerned with the fact that I might be paranoid because I don't want to feel paranoid. I just don't want to lose my ability to be competent and decipher reality in real time. I don't want to lose my edge. I want to stay able to do what I know I can do. I don't want to lose my capability more than I'm worried about how I feel. If you were to say to me, Andrew, you're going to feel 100 times worse, but you're going to know 100 times more, I'd take it. It's like, good. I'm sure there's a lot I don't know, but I probably know enough. I would say maybe 50% of my puzzle is missing, but I can see what the picture is. And it's not too hard to fill in the gaps. And maybe they haven't confirmed it to me. I've gone too far to choose to ignorance's bliss path. I can't say make me dumb and hide me from the truth and I'll feel happier. I've given up on the idea of happy long ago. Without trying to sound juvenile or trying to sound shallow or empty, I know this is going to sound crazy. By the time I've thought about all I need to think about, by the time I've avoided all the traps, by the time I've got done what I need to get done, I'm not happy or sad. I am busy. I'm busy. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm busy. How do you feel? I'm busy. That's the only way I can explain it. Spiritually, I think I feel needed. And I think as long as a man feels needed, he's going to find what he needs to provide. Men need to feel needed. We want to feel wanted. We want women to want us. We want people to look up to us. We want to feel respected. We want people to know that we're providing for them. And we want to feel like they appreciate it. And I'm lucky enough to have a big enough life where hundreds of people need me. And that's enough to keep me trying. There are obviously benefits to mass financial capability. And the benefits come by proxy, which is taking care of other people. As I just described, a lot of people I think who make a lot of money don't really ever see the abyss because they sell out long before the abyss is presented to them. I could have avoided all these things and not said anything I've said and not know any of it if I took the money long ago.